Hello everyone, I am Cool Guy, and today I want to talk about how Destiny 2 needs a theater mode. And I'm also going to show you guys how to critique your gameplay with a friend. Now, theater mode is one of the top tools I've ever used to elevate my game. It was and is essential to my growth as a player. So theater mode and first-person shooters have been kind of hit or miss in a number of games over the past 5 years or so. Now, the number of things that you can do in theater mode goes from things like machinima, like Red vs. Blue, old Halo. And can you imagine if someone came up with some characters like a sassy hunter, a know-it-all warlock, a battle-tested titan, doing skits and character development? And to be honest, I'm kind of waiting for someone to do that and just run with that idea. You know, take them to the tower, things like that. But that kind of thing can be done right now in private matches, and things like no HUD can help, but a true pan-anywhere camera is what you need for that, and kind of like what Halo Forge had. But I don't think that Destiny is going to have the space to handle something like a Halo Forge, but we can only hope. But let's go back 7 or 8 years to the days of like Black Ops 1, Halo 3, and the first thing I would do, let's say in Black Ops 1, is I would do some of my drills, like in my How to Become a Better Player video, and afterwards I would go to that theater mode and I would analyze my gameplay. And before we get into all this, any of you out there with a capture card like an Elgato or a Hauppauge can do this at any time, but one of the things I would look for is my initial shot and then my follow-up shots. I would look for overshooting and undershooting, and I went over that in a video a long time ago about finding your sensitivity. There's going to be a link in the description for that. But I would slow down every gunfight and watch my reticle, right? And so when he strafed to my left and I aimed to the left, did I overshoot my reticle past him, meaning I overshot him, or did I not get there fast enough, meaning I undershot him or I was undershooting? But I would see if I was acquiring my target first, meaning always getting that first shot off. So was my reaction time of when I see my opponent to when he sees me at the same exact moment, was I able to move my crosshair from point A to point B faster than him? If I didn't, I would ask myself why. Why did I not land that first shot? And I would go over every single scenario in my head and I would analyze it. Was it the distance I was traveling? Was it too long? Meaning, was my crosshair not pre-aimed appropriately? Did I under or overshoot the target once I looked at him? Did I blindly run around a corner and he was already pre-aiming at me and it was easy shots? Or was it plainly the gun skill just wasn't there and I need some work? So like in Black Ops 1, which a lot of people ask me if I do play Call of Duty, yes I do, and I'm not sure what is good in Call of Duty, and I've never judged anyone off of KD, but there that is. But I would go do a warm-up game against the bots. I would go on Nuketown, I'd put on the maximum number of bots, and I'd put them on easy or recruit, and I would get out an assault rifle or SMG, and I would run around. I'd work on my reaction time, strictly point A to point B shooting, seeing my target, snapping to him, acquiring him, and quickly killing him. So Call of Duty is more of a twitch shooter, and I imagine a lot of you out there were Call of Duty players before Destiny or something like Overwatch. They're much different. Ongoing reticle placement is key in these games aside from those twitch shooters. So during the game, I would try to notice what I was doing wrong and attempt to fix it. And that was just a little example of what I did, and combat training is just another example of the tool that we could have. And again, that was just me when none of my friends were on. I worked on that, and in Halo, I was playing Rumble. I was playing Lone Wolves. And after every single Lone Wolf game, after every Rumble game, I went to theater mode, and I was analyzing it and just looking at the gameplay. And then I would go and switch to the third-person view of the guy that was in first and see what he was doing right. But the best part, the part that made me want to make this video and share the impact theater mode has had on my game, is the after sessions I had with my friend Rhodesy. We were committed to getting better, and that's something that you guys have to want, and take it seriously. You can laugh a little bit, but most importantly, learn from your mistakes and get better. And not only what we did was fun, it also brought out the very best in you, and I mean the very best in you, and I'm going to tell you a little bit later on in the video what I mean by that. We would play Halo for the whole night, and say we played about 20 games. At the end of the night, once everybody got off, it would just be him and I. And what we would do is we would go to theater mode, and those last 20 games that we played were saved in theater mode. You can just watch any of them. So in recent games, you would see Team Slayer, MLG, Social Slayer, Team Doubles, just all the games, and we would pick a random number. So I would say 14. So he would, starting at the very top of his recent games, he would go down 14 games randomly. He would hit start, he would boot it up, and we would both watch it at the same time. And say the game started at 12 minutes on the clock, 15 minutes, whatever it was, we would let it run a little bit and get down to like 11:55. So we were both at a set point, pause it, we would do a 3, 2, 1, clap, 3, 2, 1, go, and we would press play and start watching it at the same time. Every engagement we looked at, every single one, and after he died, we would both pause and we would talk about what happened. And sometimes we would rewind it and watch it a couple times, because after each one, we always came to some sort of conclusion. What happened? Did he challenge when he was down? Did somebody get a shot on him and he was already down in the gunfight and he challenged anyway? Was he running into the open and he got picked off? Was he being careless? Now, the best part of all this was me analyzing him, because that's the key part, because as players, we get into certain mindsets, we get into certain routines, and having those fresh eyes look at something like that is invaluable to you. You notice things that otherwise you wouldn't notice with someone else watching. But after his game, he would say, all right, it's your turn, and he would say 7. So I would go down 7 games in my recent games, and we would do the same exact thing for me. Every night we did this before we went to bed, and we would kind of think about it while we were falling asleep. Remember earlier when I said that this brings out the very best in you? Because we did this after every single gaming session, and I knew that any game could be the one that we were going to look at the end of the night. So I didn't want to get someone one shot and they out-BR me and embarrass me. So it ups your game, just knowing that you're getting ready to watch one of these games later on. Every single one, you put a little bit more effort into, and you start remembering the things that you talked out before, and it starts bringing up your game. We would do the same thing in Black Ops, and since you do this with your friend regularly, the things that you discuss, you start remembering, like I said, and that's kind of the basis of my How to Become a Better Player video. It's off of these gaming sessions, because you learn a lot about your game, what you are doing, and you learn a lot about yourself. Now, the beautiful part is, it doesn't matter what skill level that you are, from a 0.3 KD to a 3 KD. Just notice, analyze, and talk about what happened. There's no wrong answer. You walk through it together, and it's a process, and it will improve your game. So let's talk about how we can do this in Destiny. And if you do decide to do this with a friend, I ask you to take it seriously. Help each other out. There's nowhere to go but up when you start doing this. And sure, there's going to be some laughing moments, but seriously take into consideration and help each other out. Because the way that we do this has some similarities with theater mode, but they're completely different. On Xbox, double tap the guide button, go all the way down to the bottom left to the Snap and App icon, find Game DVR, click on it. It's going to pull up, and on the right side, you're going to see 3 options. Choose Edit Clip Now, then the last 5 minutes, and that will record the last 5 minutes. But before you start recording anything, we want to do this. That way, it's going to be the first thing in your app selection screen. It's going to be at the top. That way, when it's time to do it, you can just snap the app, it's at the top, you pick Game DVR, record the last 5 minutes. The PS4 is a little bit easier. Hit the share button, select, say, video clip, upload it. And PS4 users can see the actual full game, the full 15 minutes, and Xbox users can only see 5. When we do this, we want to keep it organic and keep it natural. So when you and your friends are starting your gaming session for the night, you should have an idea already of how long you can play. Maybe it's 5 games, maybe it's 10, upwards to 20. Decide that first, and then each of you on a piece of paper write down a number, a random number. And that number is out of the game. Say you can only play 10 games for the night, so write down a number out of 10. And as an example, say it's 7. And keeping in mind, you don't know which number each of you picked. You write it down, that way it's predetermined, that way you don't look at him, say he's doing really bad and you want to watch his game later, say he's doing really good. It has to be random and organic. So this is very easy with PlayStation. You just, once that game is up, you're on the 7th game, at the end of it you say, hey, record it. So he's going to click the share button, it's going to record the last 15 minutes, and you're done. For Xbox, it's going to be 2 numbers. So say it's the 7th game, and then the first half or the second half. So at the halfway mark, make him record it, and if he's on a streak, wait until he dies, then record it. You'll watch the very first part of the game. And since it's only 5 minutes, you might want to do this twice. Maybe it's the 5th game, the end of it, so at the end of it, you have him record the last 5 minutes, and say it's the 9th game, you have him record the first, or even the last. So just kind of switch it up. It's totally random. That's the way that we want it. And once they're uploaded, you can do whatever you want. Like on Xbox, you can go to the profile, you can go to Upload Studio, PlayStation, Share Factory. You can even upload them to YouTube with both of them. You can archive them and watch them and see your development as you go, and just kind of remember what you guys were talking about as you're reviewing the gameplay later on. When you're watching the gameplay with your friend, and again, notice the mistakes, but not only that, point out the good plays as well. Talk about why it worked with your friend. Talk about movement, cover, and once you see it, you process it as good. Once you talk about it as good, you remember that, and you can apply it more and more and more into your gameplay to help improve. Whatever game mode, say you guys mostly play 3v3 skirmish, that's fine. Why did you die? Were you not with your team? Did you rush in early? Were there multiple enemies? Was it decision making, shot placement, cover usage, even loadout? Say you guys are on Frontier and you're using an IS Luna or a Palindrome, you go to their base and you die 4 times in a row, just straight up to Clever Dragons and Scout Rifles. You should point out and you should have switched to a Clever Dragon or a more appropriate weapon if they're going to do that. If not, you should try to change it. Maybe it's your use of cover getting to them. Maybe let them camp and kind of wait for them to come to you. And if you did change that loadout mid-game, point out why you did it and why that was a good play, and talk about it, why you changed weapons. Everything applies. I can't tell you guys how much this right here helped me become the player that I am. And if you do this, you will see results. I guarantee it. And that's a bold statement, but I guarantee that you will. Basically, this is why we need a theater mode in Destiny 2. From machinima to saving good gameplays to reflect on, and using it as a tool to better yourself at the game that you're playing. And you can do this for Battlefield, Overwatch, any game that doesn't have a theater mode. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, a positive rating is always appreciated. And let me know in the comments if you and a buddy decide to try this. And post your results, post what you learned from analyzing your gameplay. And what I would like to do is, if you guys want, is to choose one of you guys one day a week to analyze. This would be things that I see and things that I think that can help improve your gameplay. And I'm going to do it on my channel, and we can all discuss it together, all discuss getting better. And I set up an email for this. It is CoolGuyCrucible@gmail.com. And if you do send me a gameplay, let me know a little bit about what you're having issues with. And also, there's no need to really send me like a 40-0 gameplay. The goal of this is to see some faults and ways to fix them. And don't be afraid either. Your KD doesn't matter to me, and it doesn't matter to anybody watching. The goal is to help each other. So with that, thank you guys for watching, and until the next one, I am Cool Guy.